Right, everyone, you need to pull up a chair and listen very, very closely, because what you are about to hear is not just another recycled royal headline or a flimsy speculative whisper from some dark corner of the internet. This is the kind of revelation that cracks open the entire, carefully constructed Meghan Markle fairy tale and exposes the dark, hollow, and potentially fraudulent truth that lies just beneath the glossy, PR polished surface. For years, her own half sister, the woman she so cruelly dismissed and tried to silence, Samantha Markle, has been trying to warn us. And now, in what's being reported as a devastating new and exclusive television interview, she has delivered a blow that is so catastrophic, so personal, and so utterly damning that it could completely and permanently destroy Meghan's credibility forever. She has gone straight to the jugular, questioning not just Meghan's ever-changing narrative about her pregnancies, but her very foundation of her identity, her age. This isn't just gossip, you guys, this is a direct accusation from her own sister of a lifelong, calculated fraud. Now, I know you guys are excited for more, but before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, I mean, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, for years, Meghan has presented herself to the world as being 44 years old. She has painted this picture of a modern, glamorous duchess juggling the immense pressures of motherhood in her late 30s and early 40s, alongside her mental health struggles and the blinding glare of the global media spotlight, and in her own words, she has tried to paint her sister Samantha as a virtual stranger, someone she hadn't seen over a decade. But Samantha is now saying that is all a lie. Meghan isn't 44, she is, according to her own sister, 52 years old. And if that's true, it means that Meghan Markle has been lying about the most basic, most fundamental detail of her own identity, her birth year, for her entire public life. Now, let's break this down step by step, because this isn't just some idle, malicious gossip. Samantha Markle is Meghan's half-sister. She's older by more than a decade. And she lived through Meghan's early years. She has constantly, and for a very long time, accused Meghan of rewriting her own past to suit her narrative. But this latest revelation about her age is the most explosive yet. Samantha insists that the official timeline just doesn't match up, and that Meghan has been shaving off years to fit a more flattering, more marketable narrative. And you have to think about it. Hollywood remembers the photos, she remembers the birthdays, and she remembers the truth behind the carefully constructed stage biography. According to Meghan's official story, the one she has sold to the world, she graduated high school in 1999 at the age of 17, which would of course put her birth year at 1981. But Samantha, and now other sources are digging into this, are suggesting that there are major inconsistencies in the story. Records from Los Angeles schools are now being scrutinized, and they seem to point to the possibility that Meghan finished her schooling much earlier, on a timeline that would align with a 1973 birth date, not 1991. And if that's the case, that would make Meghan 52 years old today, not the 44 she claims to be. This isn't just about some embarrassing vanity, you guys. If this is true, this is a profound and deliberate fraud, because every single royal record, every gushing biography, every glossy magazine spread has been built on the image of a younger, fresher duchess who supposedly charmed her way into the world's most famous family in her mid-30s. And here's where the story becomes absolutely catastrophic for her. Meghan has built her global sympathy brand on her stories of her postpartum struggles, of the sleepless nights, of being a new mother under the most intense pressure imaginable. But if Samantha is right, if Meghan was already in her late 40s or even her early 50s during the period of her supposed pregnancies, and if she therefore had to rely on a surrogate, then those tearful, heartfelt confessions that she delivered to Oprah Winfrey were nothing more than carefully crafted, cynical, and deeply offensive lies. Just think back to that Oprah interview for a second. The interview where Meghan described the excruciating pain of being denied support from the royal family while she was pregnant. The interview where she talked about her suicidal thoughts. Now I want you to imagine just for a second that those pregnancies never physically happened to her. The betrayal of public trust would be absolutely unimaginable. Meghan's entire, carefully constructed victimhood narrative would completely and utterly collapse overnight. And where does our brave Prince Harry stand in all of this? As always, right by her side, not questioning, not clarifying, not providing a single shred of evidence to the contrary. Instead, what is he doing? He is reportedly threatening lawsuits against his own sister-in-law, Samantha. He is attacking the messenger rather than addressing the explosive message. And that, my friends, tells us one thing and one thing only. Harry knows that the truth is dangerous. His rage isn't about protecting his wife from false accusations. It's about a desperate, panicked attempt to keep the truth, whatever it may be, buried forever. And by defending Meghan so blindly, so unquestioningly, Harry has now become complicit in this alleged deception. He is not just protecting his wife, he is protecting the very lies that are now tearing apart what little is left of his own credibility. And Harry's lawyers are already circling. But here's the problem for them. Suing Samantha won't erase these questions. In fact, it will only magnify them. Because if Meghan truly has nothing to hide, there is a very, very simple solution. Release the records. The unredacted birth certificates, the school timelines, the hospital documents. But they won't, of course. Instead, Harry and Meghan will continue to hide behind their legal threats and their PR spin, creating the very smokescreen that is now convincing the public that something is deeply, deeply wrong. And this is why Samantha's revelations have so much teeth. She isn't just some outsider who is speculating. She is family. She remembers the birthdays, she remembers the timelines, and she is not afraid to call Meghan out, even if it means dragging her own brother-in-law, Prince Harry, deeper and deeper into the scandal. Once you start to follow this trail, you realize that Meghan's alleged deception doesn't just affect her, it shakes the very foundation of the entire Sussex brand and, more importantly, their children's future in the royal family. For years, as we all know, the whisper of surrogacy have surrounded Meghan's pregnancies, from the infamous moon bump speculation where photos showed her belly seemingly to shift and deflate in the most unnatural ways, to the tightly controlled, most paranoid secrecy around the births. Nothing ever felt transparent or real. And now with Samantha's age revelation, those whispers are starting to sound more and more credible. If Meghan was in her late 40s or early 50s, natural conception becomes biologically improbable, which means if this is true, surrogates may very well have been used. And if surrogates were used, then why not just admit it? Why lie to the entire world and stage these elaborate photo ops, cradling a prosthetic baby bump? The answer is simple: image. Meghan needed the optics of being a glowing, fertile royal mother. She needed the sympathy, she needed the applause, she needed the magazine covers. But in her desperate chase for that perfect image, she may have built her entire legacy on a performance. And this is where things explode into constitutional territory. The royal protocol demands transparency about the birth of heirs. The legitimacy of royal children isn't just a private family matter, it's a profound constitutional one. Historically, royal births were actually witnessed by government officials to prevent any kind of fraud or substitution. Now Harry and Meghan completely broke that tradition. No senior royal attended Archie's birth, no medical staff were paraded before the cameras. There were no official witnesses to confirm any of the details, and now you have to connect the dots. Meghan's disputed age, the persistent surrogate suspicions, the complete lack of transparency. The result is these lingering, damaging questions over Archie and Lilibet's royal legitimacy, and that is why the calls for DNA testing have now surfaced. Not out of some malice, but because Meghan and Harry have refused to follow the very protocols that were designed to protect the public's trust. The Oprah interview was the crown jewel of Meghan's victimhood campaign. She poured out her soul. The world wept with her. But if Samantha's claim is correct, if Meghan never physically carried those pregnancies, then those incredibly emotional testimonies were built on a foundation of absolute falsehoods. This is not just a lie, it's emotional manipulation on a global industrial scale. Meghan didn't just deceive a few tabloids, she deceived millions upon millions of people who believed her pain was genuine. And if that facade finally crumbles, Meghan won't just be remembered as a controversial figure, she'll be remembered as a master manipulator who weaponized motherhood for her own sympathy and gain. Credibility is Meghan's only currency. Every Netflix deal, every Spotify deal, every magazine cover relies on her ability to sell her story. But scandals like this burn through credibility faster than money could possibly buy it. And now with Samantha exposing what could be her most personal and most fundamental secret, Meghan's credibility doesn't just look shaky, it looks irreparably and permanently broken. Even her most ardent supporters are now beginning to ask the most uncomfortable questions. If Meghan has lied about something as fundamental as her age or her pregnancies, what else has she lied about? Her mental health struggles, her claims of racism, her feud with Kate. Suddenly every single story that Meghan has ever told now looks deeply suspicious. And finally, let's talk about Harry, because while Meghan may be the architect of these alleged lies, Harry is the one who is standing right beside her, shielding her, amplifying her narrative, and attacking anyone who questions it. And now his future looks bleak. The royal family has distanced themselves, King Charles has reportedly rejected his pleas, Prince William has all but completely cut ties, and even the charities are backing away after Harry's own reputation collapsed under the weight of Spare and his repeated public rants. If Meghan's mask fails completely, Harry won't just be a casualty of this, he'll be seen as a willing and active compliance. History won't remember him as the troubled Spare who tried to find his freedom, it will remember him as the man who completely destroyed himself by standing behind Meghan's lies. This has moved from a personal scandal to a constitutional crisis, from private lies to a global betrayal, and the question now is simple. How long can Meghan and Harry possibly run from the truth before the walls finally and completely cave in? What do you guys think of this whole insane situation? Has Meghan finally been exposed? Let me know everything you are thinking down in the comments. Let's really get into this because it is just mind-blowing. Until next time, take care. Ta-ta, and bye for now.